Oh, hello there. I know a lot of you guys know me as the fat Asian. I don't know if you guys noticed, but you know, I'm not as fat. And I know a lot of you guys miss the fat Asian. But let me tell you, the ladies are giving the skinny Asian a lot more attention. I don't want to brag, but I've increased my Tinder matches from 1 to 2. And I would say like the one thing that really helped me was doing keto, low carb. Now it helped me lose the weight, but keeping the weight off, that's another thing. Where do you find the time to go grocery shopping, to meal prep, to do the actual cooking? There is just not enough time in the day, and that is why I have switched over to Factor meal plans. Factor 75 delivers never frozen meals and smoothies to your door that are ready to eat within 2 minutes. You just rip the sleeve off, pop a few holes, microwave that bitch, and you're eating. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, microwave food, it can't be good, right? It's gonna be all mushy. No, it's actually delicious. I was surprised too. Honestly, I don't know what sorcery they put in these things, but after 2 minutes, the chicken breast, completely hot, completely juicy. The broccoli, not mushy. And the taste is honestly better than anything I can cook. Now, I've been trying them out for over a month now, and they've just been saving me so much money on takeout, so much time with like cleanup and actually choosing what to eat, which has allowed me a rare thing as a YouTuber, the ability to go outside. I mean, it's actually nice outside in New York. Look at this. Look at this. It's actually fucking nice for the first time in like 7 months. And because of these, I could actually go out there. They are America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit for a reason, people. And they have multiple types of meal plans, so if you're not into the keto stuff, have no fear. There's vegetarian options, there's just chef choice, or you can basically customize it to get exactly what you want. Think HelloFresh, but with none of that pesky cooking shit. And they're about to hook y'all up with a big-ass discount code. Head over to go.factor75.com/BMOnus120 and use the code BMOnus120 to get $120 off. The link is right on top of the doobly-doo. Use code BMOnus120. All caps, get $120 off of your first order. This is a steal. So go ahead, sign up, make your life healthier and more efficient, and just give yourself generally more time to do the things that you actually want to do, all right? Now, back to the show.
The winner to organize the 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
God damn it.
To enrich themselves without any
Been under pressure before, but never.
Here we go, chef. That's thank you. Okay, chef, it's all there.
All right, listen. I'm not born yesterday. We all know by now that the World Cup is bought and paid for, okay? Well, we always thought it was, but now we know for sure, thanks to the FBI. Now, to catch you up on some things, 11 out of the 22 FIFA members who voted on giving Qatar the World Cup have either been fined, suspended, banned for life, or prosecuted. So yeah, I think that's a fair amount of proof. Multiple executives taken over $1 million in bribes, and even one of these assholes had the audacity to ask to be knighted. Bro, what the fuck? Keep a low profile. No wonder the FBI found you. Also, who the fuck asked for a knighthood as a bribe? Like, as a concept, wouldn't you want to feel like you earned a knighthood? Like, isn't that the whole point of being a knight? Like a code of honor, chivalry, pretty much everything you are. You fucking idiot. Now, I'm not breaking any news that FIFA's corrupt, alright? Obscenely corrupt. In fact, it's more than likely that the last 6 to 8 World Cups have been bought and paid for, and 2022 was no different. Now, if the reports are to be believed, Qatar paid almost $200 million to buy the World Cup. But if we're being real, I mean like all the top countries were bribing FIFA. Reportedly, the next highest bid was Australia, who put in $42 million, and the US, who actually came down on them with the FBI, we only put in a bid of $5 million. We bid less than 3% of what Qatar bid. We still sick the FBI on them. And I'm pretty sure we know why the FBI actually did this. It's because FIFA thought they could take our bribes and not deliver. They took Russia's and Qatar's bribes and they gave it to them. But you think you're gonna take our $5 million? And not give it to us? No. You do not fuck with the stars and stripes and think you can get away with that shit. We don't give out $5 million for free, baby. And you best believe the FBI got our money back. And I don't know, just coincidentally, the following World Cup got granted to America, jointly with Canada and Mexico. You're welcome, neighbors. But it was a win-win for everyone. This is one of the few times in recent history that the United States policing the world has actually worked out. And for the most part, has been universally praised. So you're welcome as well, world. I mean, our bad on the wars in the Middle East, but, you know, come on. We did good work here. Gotta give us some credit. But even with all this shit coming to light, FIFA still refused to take away the World Cup from Qatar. And they would even go on to make the boneheaded decision to move the World Cup from summer to winter. Like, I get it, okay? It's a desert over there. The heat during the summer is like 1,000,000 degrees. But come on. The World Cup is for the people. The whole point of having the World Cup during the summer is that it's a sports dead zone right now. We're literally bored as shit. Like, you robbed that from us. You get that, right, FIFA? We should be hyped as fuck right now, witnessing maybe Ronaldo's and Messi's final World Cup. But instead, we have jack shit this summer. We're in a fucking desert bereft of any worthwhile sports because FIFA put the World Cup in a literal desert. The irony is not lost on us, I'm sure, but hey, when someone pays you $200 million, fuck everyone else, right? Fuck up literally the biggest sporting event in the world. An event that hundreds of millions of people love to enjoy. And you did it just so you could line your already filthy rich, supposedly non-profit pockets. I shouldn't be making this video right now. I should be making a clueless guide to the World Cup. But no! Had to put the goddamn World Cup in the winter, didn't you? Read the fucking room, FIFA! Oh, won't it be amazing if we have the World Cup during Christmas? No, it won't! We don't need that shit during Christmas. We literally have every other sports available during Christmas. We have football, American football, NBA, all the other boring sports. Disney's probably releasing some blockbuster movie, and all the best video games are out. We have literally everything we need during the holiday season to distract us from our horrible families. We don't need any more distractions in the winter. We need that shit right now. Do you know how badly people need something in their lives to give them a brief respite from reality right now? Have you seen the news lately? It's dystopian. And not only did you take away the World Cup from the summer, you're now probably gonna fuck up the regular season for club football and the Champions League. For you guys who don't know, since the World Cup is taking place during the winter now, pretty much all the major leagues in Europe have to go ahead and shift around their schedules. They're starting a little bit earlier on like August 6th, and they're ending a little bit later. And then to make up for this lost time, they're gonna squeeze in a lot more midweek fixtures to accommodate this Winter World Cup. And this could have a domino effect because it could easily lead to burnout, or worse, more injuries to top flight players because there's insufficient rest time and recovery. So not only did this ruin summer for sports fans, it also could possibly fuck up the entire regular season as well as the Champions League. All because you greedy fucks wanted an extra beach house. Fuck you, FIFA. But what about Qatar? I haven't forgotten about you yet. And listen, I'm gonna give you guys a fair shot. It's easy to shit on some little oil-rich nation. But I'll be honest, I didn't know you guys existed until you won this thing. What did anyone outside of the Middle East know about this country before they won this bid? And we probably asked ourselves all the same question. How did this tiny little nation that no one's ever heard of somehow secure the largest sporting event in the world over the likes of Australia and the United States? Well, let's give you all a quick history lesson. Because as much as I want to hate Qatar, they are quite interesting. They are an extremely young country. It's probably why we haven't heard of them before. They only declared their independence in 1971. To put in perspective, in the grand history of nations, Qatar is in the R. Kelly range of young. As for location and geography, Qatar is this tiny little peninsula in the Middle East that shares a border with Saudi Arabia. It's only about 100 miles long and 50 miles wide, making it slightly under the size of Connecticut. It's actually one of the smallest sovereign nations in the world, and its border with Saudi Arabia is only 37 miles long. Now, before finding oil, the region was actually one of the poorest and most sparsely populated areas in the world. But after World War II, huge oil and natural gas reserves were found, and those oil and natural gas industries led to its rapid modernization. Kind of like Man City. Now, Qatar has been ruled by a dynastic family since the early 1900s. These guys are known as the Al Thanis. But just because they keep it in the family doesn't mean it's always been peachy. In fact, there have been multiple bloodless coups. The most noteworthy one taking place in 1995 when the Crown Prince Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani took control from his father in a bloodless palace coup d'etat while his dad was out of the country on vacation in Switzerland. That must have been an awkward Christmas dinner. JK, actually his dad attempted a counter coup a year later, and that failed, so he had to live in exile until 2004. Awkward Christmas confirmed. But that's kind of cool, you know, they actually let him back in after he tried the counter coup, so it's nice to know that the Al Thani family does forgive. Eventually. Now, Hamad had big dreams to put Qatar on the world map. Big dreams that his more traditional conservative father feared would change the culture of the region too much. You know, typical boomer energy. But once he got rid of daddy, under Hamad bin Khalifa's rule, he would do what his father refused to do. And that's leverage the fuck out of their natural gas stores. Now, big thing you need to know about Qatar, even though they are quite tiny, they actually possess the third largest natural gas reserve in the world. And under Hamad's rule, Qatar would reach nearly 77 million tons of natural gas production by 2010, making the Connecticut of the Middle East the richest country in the world per capita. The median annual income of a Qatari citizen is over $85,000. In comparison, the median income for an American is a little bit under $32,000. We broke as fuck over here compared to the Qataris. But this is also in part due to the fact that there aren't actually that many Qatari citizens. They only have around 2 million native inhabitants. For comparison, Brooklyn, a single borough of the city of New York, has 2.5 million. In fact, native Qatari citizens actually only make up 1/9 of the total population of the country. And that's because Qatar has historically been a very sparsely populated region. But huge petroleum and natural gas stores found after World War II have precipitated the need for a large foreign workforce, primarily hailing from India, Pakistan, and Iran. This huge immigrant workforce is what makes up nearly 90% of the total population of Qatar today. And you bet your ass they were used in the construction of the 7 World Cup stadiums they needed to build from scratch. But you know what? Let's just put a pin in that for now. We'll come back to that later. Now, by 2005, Qatar was so filthy rich that they established the Qatar Investment Authority. This investment group is probably what you know about Qatar, because they're the ones who went ahead and bought Paris Saint-Germain, PSG. And they also sponsored Barcelona for many of Messi's most iconic moments. Yes, that's them on his shirt. But they also have investments in many things you might not know. Like take real estate, for example. They actually own part of the Shard, Heathrow Airport, and even the Empire freaking State Building. And this is just to name a few of their assets. As for businesses, they own part of Volkswagen, they own 50% of Shell Company, and they have a 75% share in Miramax Pictures in Hollywood. Yeah. Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill are owned by the Qataris. And now you see how PSG can afford Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, and possibly gonna go ahead and bring in Cristiano freaking Ronaldo to the same team because $100 million is chump change to these cats. Now Hamad actually did more than make his country filthy rich. He actually wanted more freedom of press. Yeah, I'm not misspeaking here. He actually wanted more freedom of press. So in 1996, Al Jazeera was founded by the ruling family, and Qatar actually has some of the freest press in the Middle East. Now, that's a low bar, considering it's the Middle East. But still, Al Jazeera has been a valuable news source in the region since its founding, and has been willing to tackle multiple controversial issues from a perspective unseen in the West. And while it's been broadcasting in the Middle East since its founding, it actually rose to worldwide prominence in 2001 for being willing to broadcast speeches from one controversial figure. Can you guys guess who it is? Yeah, you guessed it. Osama bin Laden. Come on, it was 2001. What do you expect? Also, don't get it twisted, alright? While Hamad wanted more freedom of press for the region, that didn't mean full freedom of press. You get what I'm saying? Because you gotta remember, the Al Thani family ruled without opposition. He didn't allow full freedom of speech, just more freedom of press. There is a difference. Also, no dissent against him or the ruling family was ever allowed. So basically, more freedom of press unless someone was talking shit about him or the ruling family. And if you did do that shit, well, they cracked down on you. In fact, in 2013, a poet was imprisoned for criticizing Hamad. But when you compare that to their neighbors, Saudi Arabia, and their track record with reporters and dissent, you could argue that this poet got off light. And if you haven't guessed it, Hamad is a ginormous sports fan. And you combine that with his dream to put Qatar on the world stage, it's pretty much guaranteed that this man is the reason why Qatar is hosting the World Cup this year. He played a huge role in developing athletics in Qatar, eventually leading to win the first gold medal in track and field, weightlifting, and a bronze medal in beach volleyball. They would also go on to host the 15th Asian Games, establish the second biggest tennis tournament in the Middle East, and of course, host the freaking 2022 World Cup. And now, you see how Qatar bought the World Cup. And listen, most of the World Cups you've seen in your lifetime have been bought and paid for. So really, why all the fuss? Why not expand the beautiful game to a region that has never hosted it before? Why not actually show the Middle East in a good light for once, in a different way than the constant war and terrorism that the news makes it out to be? And I think, in a vacuum, those sentiments have validity. The issue was that Qatar had next to no footballing infrastructure. Not only that, they didn't even have enough hotels to house tourists for the World Cup. Yeah, they're gonna have to bring in cruise ships and dock them in Doha in order to accommodate all the guests. And since they're not a historic footballing nation, they've had to invest over $200 billion in infrastructure for this World Cup. $200 billion with a capital B. Fucking oil money, bro. They had to build 7 stadiums from scratch and renovate an 8th in the middle of the fucking desert. And while the World Cup was moved to winter to accommodate the athletes, the migrant workers they employed had to build the stadiums year-round. And they didn't pause for summer. That meant hundreds of thousands of migrant workers working in an average of 122-degree heat. And newsflash to some of you people, working insane hours in that heat, sometimes without any breaks, was gonna kill people. In fact, Amnesty International and The Guardian have alleged that over 6,750 workers have died while working on construction for just these stadiums alone. Most of these workers coming in from India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. And how much were these workers paid for risking their lives, living crammed like sardines in horrific conditions? Well, some were paid as low as $11 a day. Not $11 an hour, $11 a day. The richest country in the world pays immigrant workers next to nothing. Remember that when you see their beautiful kick-ass stadiums, and they are pretty, I'll admit that, okay? The tent one looks dope. But I can't look at it and fully appreciate it because I know that it was built with near slave labor. Beyond that, the former work system in Qatar required migrant workers to have a sponsor from their employer in order to be in the country legally. If their employer were to withdraw that sponsorship, these workers would be at risk of being arrested. This obviously caused a huge power imbalance, and a lot of these workers weren't allowed to change jobs or even leave the country without the approval of their employers. There was also rampant wage theft. Basically, workers not getting paid on time, unpaid overtime, and sometimes not even being paid at all. So basically, not quite slavery, but if you're held against your will and made to work insane hours against your will, living in clearly unsafe conditions, and not getting paid, that sounds pretty goddamn close to slavery. You know, I'm not an expert on it, but pretty close. Now, in 2017, they abolished this crazy work system and modernized it to conform to more international standards. And while these reforms sounded good on paper, they remained weakly enforced, and certain loopholes still kept many workers from being able to leave the country or change jobs.
So that was a fucking lie.
Now, it's important to say that not all workers experience this level of exploitation, but the conditions and the system have allowed for rampant abuse. And I think it's important to note that all this is happening because of just one man's dream. One man had enough money to buy the fucking World Cup. And now, almost 7,000 people are dead, and thousands more will have lifelong health problems and basically have their lives ruined, all while being paid pennies by the richest country in the fucking world. I get it, okay? I get the sentiment that you want to brighten the image of the Middle East beyond war and terrorism. But at what cost? This World Cup will leave a sour taste in our mouths. How do you think people feel about the Russian World Cup 4 years later, huh? And as beautiful as their stadiums are, and yes, they look nice, we will know the price you paid for them. And in a world increasingly of people who have and have not, sport was one of the few last bastions where we could just turn it on and be distracted from all that bullshit. But now you've turned the biggest fucking sporting event in the world into a constant reminder of wealth inequality and corruption. Great job, FIFA and Qatar. Fucking great. At least you kept it in summer. You'd be a little bit more grateful as you're fucking us because we'd have distractions right now. But no, you gotta move that shit to winter. Why? Because 200 fucking million. That's fucking why. And I know I'm gonna be a hypocrite. I know when the World Cup comes on, I'm gonna turn it on. All of us are. But I'm not gonna be able to shut off the voice in the back of my head that's gonna be constantly questioning, why am I watching this during the winter? Oh, that's a nice stadium. I wonder how that got built. Oh shit, Kevin De Bruyne or Neymar just went down with an injury. I wonder how that's gonna affect the entire season. Now, not everyone is gonna voice displeasure about this, I know this. But subconsciously, every single time one of these things happen, we're gonna think about it, and we'll be fucking reminded of how Qatar and FIFA fucking ruined this World Cup. People need a break, okay? People desperately need a break right now, or we will lose our fucking minds. But once again, money and fucking corruption has seeped its way into pretty much everything in our lives now. So thank you for that. Thank you so fucking much. Merry Christmas. But honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna tune into it with the same fervor that I've had since I was a kid. I don't know if I'm gonna tune into every game. And hey, maybe that's just my opinion, but I honestly think there's only so much people can take. And yeah, it might be the most beautiful game in the world. But just because something's beautiful doesn't mean you can't fall out of love with it. And that's where I'm gonna leave off this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you really not give a shit about any of this stuff? Do you think I'm just flapping gums and everybody else is just trying to be all like SJW about this shit? But when it comes to it, we're all gonna tune in. Has the magic of the World Cup been spoiled for you because of the last one in Russia, because of this one in Qatar? Hell, you could even argue the one coming up in America. It's not like we've been that great to the world lately. So let me know how you feel about the World Cup. Or just, you know, how fucking bored you are right now with nothing going on during the summer. Oh, hey, it's the Fat Agent. Just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, take your hard rectangle, smush into the like button right now. Only takes you a second, but it helps me infinitely in this godforsaken algorithm. And as always, like to go ahead and thank all my patrons keeping me alive and well during all this global bullshit. A personal shout out to Gregory Bex, Austin Blackenow, and Shin Lee for being the 3 newest members of the $1 Army. And if you really appreciate videos like this, please go ahead, throw me a $1 on Patreon, sign up for a Factor 75 meal plan. They're actually pretty good, not gonna lie. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for me, be honest. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember to stay yourself, stay humble. Until next time, boys, stay thick.